Okay, so I posted before in one of the videos that my son had got circumcised, right? So the first question I usually get asked is, how come you waited so long? Because he's 4, and it's a valid question. So for those of you who know, some of you don't, some of you do, I am a carrier of hemophilia A, which is a factor VIII deficiency, which basically means that the blood does not clot as quickly as it should. It clots, but not as fast as radioses, right? So I inherited this gene from my mother, and I am now the lucky carrier of factor VIII deficiency. So what happens is, if I have a son, there's 50% chance that he will get hemophilia A. And I have 3 sons, and 2 of them have it, right? Has nothing to do with the father, has nothing to do with the father's side at all, because I feel like that's a misconception that a lot of people have. Even a doctor one time tried to tell me that it was the father. I'm like, no, it's not the father, it's all on me. So it's for me personally. Any male child I give birth to, there's a 50% chance that he's going to have hemophilia A. And the daughters, I don't know if they're automatically carriers or if it's a 50% that you'll be a carrier. I have to check that. Either way, so this is me and my son. So my last son, I missed a genetic testing while I was pregnant, so I had to get him tested after he was born. So once he was born, there was like a delay in the testing, or they didn't give me the testing, like they said the numbers. I don't know, whatever the case is, the testing was kind of janky, and we didn't get a confirmation for, I want to say like maybe a week, like a solid confirmation, yes, he does have hemophilia, right? So we didn't get him circumcised at birth because my second son, who has hemophilia, we did not get him tested. He just got circumcised, and he formed a clot under the head of his penis, and that's how we figured out that he had hemophilia, because it was like a process. Like, it was there, got smaller, bigger. Eventually it fell off, and it was fine. Like, he didn't have any issues outside of the clot forming. But again, because he's a hemophiliac, it's still of concern to just have him get cut without having the medication, which would be the clotting factor. He'd have to take a dose of the factor to help his blood clot, and then also this follow-up medication. So when my last son was born, they did the testing. It's like, okay, boom, he has it. Now we have to do the mad dash to try to get the medication that he's gonna need afterwards. So he would have to get, not the factor because he was so little, just the liquid medication, which is called Amicar. And my older son, they're like, oh, if your other son has some at home, then it's perfect. We could just lower the dose and give it to him. Unfortunately, my older son did not have it at home because he did not need it. Thankfully, it's like one of those things, like, if you have it, you have it. If you don't, you don't. And his had expired, and we didn't need it, so we didn't renew it. So then it was like, okay, well, let's try to get this baby medication. And before we could get everything approved and all of that, insurance and all that, to get the message's name, I'm like, okay, I told the nurse, I was like, can't you just refill my older son's and then give him whatever dose he needs? And she's like, oh, well, I don't feel good about it. And I get it. Medically, it's illegal to prescribe medication for somebody else to use it. I understand all of that. But we could have avoided it if she just did it. But whatever, fine. We're here, right? Everything happens for a reason. So fast forward, we didn't get anything done until after he hit 1 month. And we were trying to do the mad dash before the 1 month mark, because once you hit 1 month old, you can only go under general anesthesia. So they told me that he could do it, but they'd have to put him to sleep. And for me personally, I felt like being circumcised was not medically necessary, and I didn't feel like putting a 1 month old to sleep just to have him circumcised was worth it. Right? Now, I figured, we're just not going to do it. That was the plan, right? So, had I known, I would have just made him do it before he turned 1. What is this? Oh, the fuzz from my suit. I would have just got it done before he turned 1, which obviously would have been much easier process. But either way, he didn't have it. He had a UTI early this year. Long story short, his foreskin was too tight and could not retract all the way. So we did this steroid cream, and it worked, and then it went back to normal. So here we are. We ended up having him circumcised at 4 years old, and that is that. If you want, I can go into the process and how it went and stuff like that. What to expect, because I really didn't know what to expect. I feel like even when I googled, you only find research and resources for smaller kids, and honestly, I freaked that first day. Like, it was not easy at all. The doctors told me like, oh yes, nothing, he's not going to be in pain, this, that, and the third. But y'all, it was a lot. He's getting better, he's feeling better, but it was a lot for me personally, and I know it was a lot for him. So maybe I will make a video so that you guys, if you need to know what to expect when circumcising a toddler, I can kind of, let you know what you'll expect. I don't need your comments telling me that's what's not necessary, what is necessary, and all this good stuff. I don't care, okay? Just so y'all know, because I don't have time. And of course, I'm going to reply to y'all comments nicely and patiently and respectfully, because that's just who I am. But if y'all could just spare me and not give me an opinion on being circumcised versus not being circumcised and all that good stuff, I would really appreciate that. I would. Bye.